Hello Jane.
Hi Ben.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Are you? Nice to see you.
And you, welcome.
Thank you.
It's a bit chilly.
Oh, yes, a bit blustery.
So, here we are at Swanbourne House.
Yes.
So it's 10.8 miles from our office in Milton Keynes on Midsummer Boulevard.
Okay.
But you're nestled in some beautiful countryside, aren't you?
It is absolutely beautiful. We're on a 55-acre site here, very old parkland, woodland, but yet so handily located for sort of Aylesbury, Milton Keynes, Buckingham is the triangle really. We're in the middle, so yes, very lucky.
Now you've been here a year. Is that about right?
Yes, this is my second year, my second academic year at the school.
And what sort of grabbed my attention and really intrigued me is you're not the traditional head teacher, are you?
No, I've taken a different path, I think it's fair to say. So I was a barrister for 15 years and then I became a judge, ultimately specialising in family law, mainly children-related litigation. Yes, plunged into headship September 18.
I've got to ask why.
I think the starting point for me is I was extremely fortunate to have attended a prep boarding school very similar to Swanbourne, although you can probably detect from my accent further north. And I think they're the absolute making of so many children, really igniting passions and interest, giving you your confidence, giving you your resilience. It's a powerful place to start your education and your early years in life, I believe.
And what grabbed me was I'm a huge fan of education. My mother was a teacher for just under 30 years, I think, secondary school. But I'm a big believer that education needs business, but also businesses need education. And I do think that there is a real partnership or synergy. And I think probably on a national level, I think there's still work to be done there.
Yes, very much so.
But what intrigued me with your background is that you can certainly bridge that gap with Swanbourne, can't you?
Yes, I mean I've spent most of my career so far outside of the educational walls, and I think one thing that's been very apparent to me previously and even more so now in education is that industry and commerce has been crying out for many, many years, not for us as schools simply to be educating children in terms of these wide knowledge bases. They learn all the facts, they're able to memorise them, they're able to effectively regurgitate lots of knowledge in exam type situations. What industry, commerce, business wants is the thinkers, the creativity, people who are going to be bold enough to bring forward ideas, some of which might not work, but it's an idea, and from there other ideas flow. So that's caused me to make quite a few changes at Swanbourne over the last year. We used to have a very traditional academic timetable, Monday to Friday and also Saturday mornings. So you'd have double maths, Latin on a Saturday morning, and I just queried whether that was the right thing for children, certainly 8 to 13, to be doing. And so we've moved all of our academic lessons, which themselves we're working on a much more cross-curricular basis now, making sure that all these lessons have got worldly relevance built into them. But on Saturdays that's allowed us to do something quite exciting. So we've launched the Saturday enrichment programme, and that really is developing skills. It's a lot of project work, it's a lot of teamwork, collaborating, trying new things. So a lot of IT based projects, we've got performance car design. We've got a marketing project where the children, they're given a new product and they have to plan a marketing strategy and actually announce the arrival of this product. How are they going to do it for maximum impact in the business world? And so it's really opening the children's eyes. They love it. It's very exciting for them.
And those enrichment groups, are they mixed ages?
Yeah, and again that's a really great thing, because in the academic timetable obviously children are taught in year groups, but in the Saturday enrichment programme we've got much more of a vertical system, so children aged 9 up to children aged 13 are working together, and it's very wrong to assume it's always the older ones that are coming up with the great ideas. They might be a little bit further ahead in terms of how to develop them, but wonderful for the 9-10-year-olds to be coming and saying, actually, why don't we try this?
And being, from a communication perspective, that's going to build their confidence and help them no end. what are the typical group sizes?
So it depends on the type of project and the level of interest. We have a lot of options for the children to choose from, and so we initially see from the children's own selections where they want to be, try and work the numbers out. We very rarely have more than about 10 on a particular project.
And I can't help but notice when I was driving through to pick you up this morning that the such beautiful grounds. Sport is obviously a big part of Swanbourne, but you've got a bit of a sporting background as well.
Yeah, sport has been a huge part of my life since I was very little. I think I learned to ride before I could walk, so I've done a lot of competing on horses, mainly eventing, some team chasing as well. But also I've played a lot of core sports and non-core sports for girls at school and in the community. So hockey, I played for my county and had England trials. Rugby, I played at blues level at Cambridge.
I've got to ask, what position did you play?
Second row.
Were you?
Yeah.
You were a second row?
Yes, yeah, so very much in the scrum. I started off on the flank, and I have to say on balance I prefer the flanks. You're a lot quicker out of scrum, scored a few tries, but got mixed up in the scrum and moved to second row. But I loved playing rugby, and again I think sport does so much for you in terms of your personal qualities, certainly your robustness, resilience to bounce back from things. I think sport is one of the greatest levelers in life and teaches you to pick yourself up, dust yourself off and go again. And
you've also got a strong sporting setup at Swanbourne as well?
Yeah, very much so. Again, we've raised the bar over the last year or so. We run a specialist internal scholars sports programme for the children with the most aptitude and commitment in sport. They get a full bespoke package of not just sports training, skills training, but also that real understanding of what it takes to be a champion, a real athlete, an elite athlete. So they look at the sports psychology, the sports nutrition, the real core strength fitness, how to do your best to avoid any injuries that we know can ruin careers. The other children get a mix of this within their sports curriculum as well, but for us scholars we do that much more, and they're looking at the big sports scholarships then to senior schools, which open a lot of doors for children with a real talent and passion for sport.
And what's the capacity for pupils at Swanbourne?
So at the moment we have roughly 300 children in the school. We've got a little bit of room for growth, but we also hold some wait lists in other year groups. So yeah, we're strong.
And if you look at the future of education, you've obviously made a lot of changes and had significant impact over the last sort of 12-18 months, or since you joined Swanbourne. Where can you plan, like in business? A lot of business owners will have a 3 or a 5 year business plan. What's it like being the head and leading the way and being the vision for Swanbourne? Do you do something similar for the next 3 or 5 years?
Yes, absolutely. We always have our strategic plan in place, which, like any business, you continue to adapt and modify. You're always keeping abreast of educational developments. Obviously, we're keeping a close eye on political developments as well at the moment, but
we won't go there, don't worry.
Fingers crossed. So yeah, I mean, one of the big things we've done over the last year is we were one of the first schools to turn our back on common entrance, which is, in my mind at least, a rather archaic assessment system for 12 and 13-year-old children before they move up to the senior schools, where all of their academic subjects, their core academic subjects, were tested in timed written examinations over the course of a week, very traditional style. It just doesn't suit all students, and in fact a good proportion of students. And for me, we should as educators be enabling these students to put their best foot forward. It helps no end with their confidence levels, but actually to make sure they're going away from us, they're moving on to the senior schools with a certificate, with grades and scores and an all-round sort of 360 picture of everything they've achieved in their prep school life. So now we've moved over to the pre-senior baccalaureate, PSB, which allows children to put forward independent research in non-timed conditions that they're doing at home, in school. They also do projects that they work on in teams. They can present those orally. They build artifacts. They produce short theatre scripts. So all of these ways of demonstrating knowledge and those key skills that we're very keen on building into the curriculum throughout their time at Swanbourne, it's far more fun for the children because of the variation. And again, no matter what your learning style, you feel great about yourself. It's so adaptable. It's a wonderful programme and been very, very well received by children and parents and staff.
Well, and with these changes, how am I lost here? No, I'm not. I'm just going the wrong way. Sorry. When you make changes like that, can you notice the difference or the impact quite quickly because of the reaction from staff and pupils, or really is the proof of the pudding maybe after the first academic year when you can benchmark results, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a journey at the end of the day. There are still a sort of a group within the school community who perhaps fear change naturally, and so it's taking those people on the journey. But for me, it's making sure you are fully prepared, you've done all your research, you hold those information sessions and show people what you're proposing and why. Because often it is down to communication at the end of the day. If you're explaining why these changes are being implemented, then people are less concerned you're getting something wrong or taking the school down a path that they shouldn't be going down. So we've done an awful lot of groundwork, and that's certainly helped. And again, it's not just parents, it's not just staff, it's the children as well. It's really important that they understand what we're looking to do and why, and for their benefit. You get their buy-in, and my goodness, they make the most of it. But that's the initial part, and then of course it's announcing it, planning it, and then ultimately embedding it. So it's not just a case of bringing something in, it's continuing to develop it, improve it. PSB is a fabulous learning community, so as opposed to traditional times when perhaps schools were a little bit closed shop and not so keen to talk about what they were doing, they wanted to keep it a little bit of a secret. PSB is wonderful. We all collaborate with each other. We have a lot.
PSB stands for
the Pre-Senior Baccalaureate.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of senior schools on board. They're working with us on the curriculum. What should we be teaching our youngsters in years 7 and 8, ready for them to take on in year 9?
Best of breed, and you're sharing experience and best practice.
And that's just a continuing process in every single subject.
So, Jane Thorpe, career-led, visionary, mum of 3, making significant positive changes at Swanbourne. Christmas is upon us. Talk me through Christmas Day in your household.
Christmas Day, oh my goodness. Well, I am that shocking career woman, and I'm sure a lot of parents are feeling the same way. I haven't even started planning family Christmas yet, so I will be beholden, I suspect, to Amazon Prime at some stage. But yes, I love cooking. I don't get much chance during the school term time, so I'll be experimenting in the kitchen. Hopefully have the children on board.
And how old are your children?
Nearly 4, nearly 12, and 13 and a half.
Brilliant.
Yes.
And will it just be you at home, or have you got family and friends coming over?
I think it'll just be us at home on Christmas Day, but then we're going off to see quite a lot of family and friends over the festive period, so can't wait. Because
home for you is actually Yorkshire, yeah?
It is, yes.
Or it is Yorkshire, sorry.
Yes, and I've still got a lot of friends around the East Midlands, Midlands North East, so we'll spend a bit of time on the road this Christmas, but great to catch up with everyone.
And New Year? Do you have any plans at New Year's, or any traditions?
So New Year we're spending with our best family friends up in Derbyshire, not so far from Chatsworth, which will be magical.
Beautiful.
Yes, and I love carols, so lots of singing. Hope the voice holds up.
And well, just as I'm trying to kill some time before we pull up, favourite carol of all time or Christmas song?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. Probably Hark the Herald. Really a keen one to belt out.
Yeah, that is a belter. And Christmas song? Are you a Michael Bublé fan, or?
Yeah, music, I've got quite an eclectic taste really. I like all sorts. I have to say the children have been utterly delightful this time of year.
Yeah.
We've already had, I think we've had our music concert, we had a beautiful...
That was last week, wasn't it?
We did, we had a music concert at school Friday evening, we had the senior choir concert at St Guthlax in Passenham last night. The singing was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we're very lucky, we have all of this entertainment around the clock really this time of year.
Brilliant. Well, Jane, on behalf of everybody at All Things Business, thank you very much for taking part, and we wish you and everybody else at Swanbourne a very prosperous 2020.
Thank you, and to you. Nice to see you, Ben.